All right. Another week, another Centre Circle podcast. I'm here with Adrian today. What's going on?
Nothing much, Doing well. Can't complain.
The other two decided to go to Liverpool and watch some guys lift a trophy on a bus or something. So we've asked friend of the pod, Ant, to come along. What's going on, mate?
I'm good, bro. Thanks for having me.
No worries. All good. It's overdue anyway. It's overdue.
This is the first time you've asked me.
Yeah, it's overdue. Yeah. You should have asked me before, innit? It's overdue. Right. Last weekend of the Prem, lots of things have already been decided, but the Champions League places were coming to right to the last minute. And as I predicted last week, somebody relatively big was going to drop out. And when I asked the question, all you fans were in the TikTok talking. I'm going back to that video right after we finish recording, yeah? I'm going back to the video. But we'll step through it. We'll also have a look at a little bit of going on in Europe. Napoli's winning in Serie A. Some familiar players picking up medals, picking up MVPs, whilst their colleagues are 16th in the Premiership.
The club's going through a new strategy.
Yeah, of course. A data-led one.
Are we allowed to speak on stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah. Yep. And then we'll have a quick chat about the promoted teams as well. Now that the playoff final has come and gone. So we got Leeds, Burnley and Sunderland coming up. And a Bellingham in the Premiership. The hype that will follow. And yeah, a few more other bits to touch on. All right. First things first. Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest. Last week, yeah, I thought, if Forest, whoever won this game was going to qualify.
Yeah.
Right? Forest started this game in 7th place. They ended it in 7th place, having lost 1-0 to Chelsea. And the guy that we've cussed I wish Keith was here. Because the guy we cussed all season scored the winner. Levi Colwill. Chelsea were rightly celebrating like they won the champion, like they'd actually won the league. But is this on time for Chelsea or is this ahead of schedule? When we think about, I know they spent a lot of money, but when you look at what they actually bought and the quality of that squad, is this about time? Is this the minimum Maresca had to do this season? What do you reckon?
I think it's the minimum, but it's also the maximum they could have done.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, they were never going to be good enough to win a league.
No.
And they were never going to be... Not finishing in the top 5 was never going to be acceptable because the last guy just got fired for coming sick. Anyway, so... it was the only thing they could do. Their fans, I'm getting stick about it now. Their fans are delighted and over the moon, real giddy. I don't think they have much to celebrate. I think, really and truthfully, Forest was always in a false position. I've said for weeks that Forest were going to drop out. And it's just, they were just performing way above their own level. And you just can't maintain that. It's like when a
system can only take you so far.
Yeah, like you're just not going to be good. And remember, Forest's whole thing is get a goal and just squeeze the game out, just defend. Now
and maybe catch on the break.
Yeah, but now teams, because of where you are now, teams play to beat you now.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have a plan for your plan.
Yeah.
And it's harder to operate like that. So they was always going to find themselves in this predicament.
I wanted them to
Spurs
make it,
and United have been woeful. So Chelsea didn't really have anybody to beat.
Yeah.
All they've had to better, really, is Villa and Forest. That's it. They haven't had to better Liverpool, Arsenal, United, Spurs, City. They haven't had to better. They haven't had to better Newcastle neither.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So it wasn't a difficult task. I mean, they'll pretend like they've got it out of the mud. Spent $1 billion in 2 years. And not $1 billion like after coming up neither. $1 billion after coming third.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not really like a rags to riches tale. It's a riches to riches tale. Like,
yeah.
However, good luck to them.
Yeah, and I mean that's not a squad that's going to be able to maintain a decent Premier League and Champions League push. So they're going to go out and spend again. But they've already signed 2 players.
How can they go and spend again?
Well, someone
Finding
there
ways.
has figued out something. Because even last week I saw they signed 2 more players.
The 2 from Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah, for another 70-something million.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
So people will leave, people will come through, but this thin youngsters relying on
Certain
Enzo,
quality. Yeah.
Caicedo, Palmer, Jackson, he's not going to cut it. He can't do it. He can't do it. That's why you're scraping into Champions League.
As well as they've had 1 game a week essentially for the whole season.
Exactly.
Because they're 2 squads and they're playing them 2 different squads in the in one competition in the league. Yeah.
Literally playing the reserve squad in the Europa Conference League.
And funny enough, I watched the game and there were some warning signs that Chelsea needs to be like concerned about the fans in terms of their attacking options. Like there's not a real consistent threat in that game. I didn't feel once that Chelsea caused the Nottingham Forest team problems offensively.
Well, he started with Jadon Sancho on one side, Madueke on the other. I
Neto
mean,
up front.
if
And Palmer
you
in the
want
hole.
some incision from your front line, it's not going to come from there. Then I look at his bench. Who's he got to bring on the bench to do anything?
That kid, is it George?
Tyree George, who's a winger, fair enough, but he's a youngster.
There's strikers out there though. There's Vlahovic is available. I'm not crazy about him, but some people rate him.
Luke.
Gokares, Liam Delap, Hugo Ekitike.
Yeah.
There's enough strikers that all the big Prem teams that need a forward can get one.
Yep.
You know, like the year when Morata, Lacazette, and who was the other one?
Who else was
Morata,
that? Yeah.
Lacazette. There was 3 of them. Lukaku.
Maybe it was Lukaku.
Yeah, all moved at the same time. It can be like one of those summers.
Could Lukaku play Maresca's system?
Lukaku could never go back to Chelsea.
No.
There would never be a way that
I think it would just go
accept
sour
him.
too quick.
Yeah, they'd never accept him. I don't even think it's something he'd be
wouldn't do
prepared
it.
to
Yeah,
do.
fair.
He's gone there and failed twice.
Yeah.
You could even argue 3 times because when he's come back from a loan.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's on the cards.
And for Forest, a little bit of perspective. It's disappointing, but you're in Europe, man. Europe for the first time since I don't even know what year.
Probably since they won it.
Yeah.
The year we were like born.
Literally. Speak for yourself.
All right.
Yeah.
But you know, they've finished 7th after 2 years of battling relegation, points deduction, the whole shebang.
Do you know,
it's not a bad season.
I think that's better for them. I know
I
the
agree.
money incentive, but Forest could really win the Europa Conference League.
With a few additional signings.
Like, I don't even know if they need it. Look at the team West Ham won it with.
Yeah, but the Conference League is
No, but West Ham had
tough,
attackers
bro.
though. West Ham had
Is it?
Well, yeah, not the football standard, but
it's the journey.
everything around it just looks
Preparing.
hard. The games, the locations. It just
Remember,
looks...
if Forest get a deep run in that and come 12th, that's still a great
Yeah,
season.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
not
100%.
forget who Nottingham Forest are.
And they're gonna buy players. Like that owner doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't mess around. They're gonna buy players.
like for like them and for Villa, I think as well as Villa done in the Champions League this season, they can't win the Champions League,
It's not happening.
but they can win the Europa League. We just watched Tottenham win it.
Yeah.
Like for me, and we used to have this discussion all the time, like about Arsenal. Like I don't want to be in the Champions League just to make up the numbers. Like
And to collect revenue.
yeah, we could win the Europa League.
Yeah.
We should have won the Europa League.
Yeah, we should have.
I feel you're way better off winning the Europa League than getting to the semi-finals or the quarterfinal of the Champions League.
Yeah,
Maybe not
100%.
financially, but as a fan and as players,
Yeah.
you'd much rather that victory rather than, oh yeah, we got to the quarters.
Yeah,
Like no
we
one
got to
gives
the
a damn
semi-
that we beat Real Madrid.
No one's going to remember that.
No one
No one
cares.
cares. No one cares.
So yeah, I think
I'll tell
Forest are better off in
that's
Forest are better off in the Conference League than Champions League. If they come fifth in the league, would they even get through the Champions League qualifier? Like when they got to play Dynamo Zagreb and that. I'm not 100% confident
Yeah.
that they beat them and get into the group stages.
So Forest right now would then need another striker, a box-to-box midfielder.
Isn't it a bit like? Do you remember when Ipswich qualified for Europe?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Didn't they get relegated the season after?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, when they came fifth. I think similar may have happened to Norwich back in the day as well.
Yeah.
And they
So
beat Bayern Munich in that, and I'm sure they got relegated the year after.
So as a neutral, yeah, I would have loved to have seen them qualify in that, but actually, it might have been terrible.
Wasn't Wigan?
Who won the FA Cup? Beat Man City.
Yeah, there was somebody.
Millwall.
There was somebody, a small team from the Prem was in
I'm sure it was Wigan.
Wolves was in the Europa League.
Yeah, they were one time.
I think Fulham nearly got relegated when they did well in the Europa League.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to do. And again, no disrespect to those players, but how many of them have been at clubs where they're playing twice a week, every week in the Prem?
Yeah.
Not many. Not every week. Hudson-Odoi was on the fringes at Chelsea. Elanga, maybe. Hardly played.
Wood's never experienced it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a shock. I mean, they're gonna spend, but yeah, I'm with you. I think as disappointed as it is, having been in the whole season, you've got Europe. I think anyone should be disappointed is Aston Villa. But again, to your point, they're gonna feel more disappointed because of how they performed in the Champions League this season. But you're not gonna win it.
Yeah.
But it's finance. It just always comes back to the finances.
I think Villa is in a crazy situation with the PSR that they kind of needed Champions League.
Mate, they spend 97% of their revenue on wages.
Really?
Yeah.
Wild. But and definitely Martinez is leaving, isn't he?
Yeah, that's the rumor.
Thank God.
They'll get
Rashford will go back. Asensio will go back.
The land's unsure. The landscape's I'm not certain for Watkins, right? Because obviously they kind of flirted with him leaving.
See, that's another striker one of it. Like
we could have done it and we didn't.
But even like to Chelsea now, like you're in this. Take Watkins. Watkins would do well on the Chelsea side. I think Watkins is a better version of Jackson. Personally.
Yeah.
Without being the cleanest finisher in the world.
Yeah, but their thing at the moment is only buying players they can resell, which I think only gets you so far. You're gonna have to buy more of a finished article at some point, and you're the guy who paid for the resale.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna have to be that guy. The conversation we had on here a few weeks ago, I was saying to the guys to go and have that conversation with your director of football, blah blah blah, to get in Rashford, Asensio. Who else did they get in January?
The Dutch striker
and Marlon.
Yeah.
You're saying I need to be able to do the Prem and qualify to Champions League. I need to be able to do both.
Yeah.
So him not qualifying for the Champions League
that looks like
is a failure. Not a failure, abject failure. You know what I mean? That was the business. That was the business case.
That was your objective, and you did it here. There's context. Obviously, it's goal difference. You got robbed on the last day, essentially.
And then Rashford got injured as well. But not that Rashford could play today anyway.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but before today,
would he be worth another point in the games they've played before today?
Yeah.
Probably.
And I don't think it's terminal for them. To your point, I think do Europa League
and build.
Like they should be looking to win that competition.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And finish top 6 again.
Yeah. I think that should be Villa's aim.
But who should they go for? Do you think a guy like Lookman adds something? Because Lookman is sounding like he's available.
I think he gets a better move than Villa because of his exploits last year.
A bigger team
by better, I mean a bigger team. It doesn't have to be a better team.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
But it would be a more...
It could all be a bigger team in Italy or something.
Yeah.
Remember what they're losing Rashford. I don't think Asensio is a big loss, personally.
I think he's done all right.
He's done okay.
He's done well. He's done better than I expect. Because I didn't rate him one bit.
I thought he was going to be another João Felix.
Yeah. I mean, I like Felix. Adrian, but yeah, I didn't rate Asensio before this loan, but he's
done nice okay, but I don't think you go out and buy him. I don't think that's a buy. I don't think they should. I don't think they say, all right, we're going to turn this loan into permanent. I think they let him go back and focus on some other targets.
With their PSR, I wonder how much movement they get. Because Marlon was a perm, innit?
Yeah, they paid like 17 mil for him. But they can sell him.
There's Rodgers there, Ramsey's there.
Yeah, they can sell Ramsey. I don't think they want to sell Rodgers.
Alon hasn't set the world alight, even though I'm a fan of his.
I think he's sick.
I think he's dope. He hasn't played well. He hasn't played amazing, but I think he's great.
He's functional, but
you don't like black midfielders.
Don't do that. That's not true. But he's just functional. I like Balaba.
Believer.
Sorry, Believer.
Well, I let you off with Lookman. Yeah? It's Lookman.
I didn't wonder who he was talking about at first. I
thought it was a rapper or something. I wasn't sure. And then Newcastle, I mean, they got in by the skin of their teeth. Absolute skin of their teeth.
Results
and I called the Everton thing. Like, remember I said Everton could go there, and annoyingly, David Moyes has got them functioning.
Because of my boy Jared Bramford.
He's injured though.
Was he not playing today?
No.
More like Ndai.
He's cold.
He's
David Moyes has killed it at Everton still. They should have done it long time.
He's. I wasn't see. I didn't see it. I really didn't see it.
Nah, he's done a great job with them. Still, he's made Everton what Everton are supposed to be.
Yeah.
Hard to beat. Gonna come between 7th and 10th, but no one wants to go Goodison, and you're not rolling them over at home.
Well, no. What's the name of the stadium now? Hill Dickinson
Stadium.
That is a shit name.
So
it's a league.
Why did they just call it New
because
Goodison?
it's new sponsorship. Isn't it?
Yeah. They've
Oh.
been sponsored by a legal firm.
But to be fair, that might go against them.
Yeah,
They don't have no home advantage next season at all.
It's a new.
Remember our
stadium.
first season at the Emirates?
Oh.
Because
We was
I
just
did-
drawing every game.
I did read Moyes was upset because they picked up the turf to start growing new turf there, and he wanted to do some training sessions at the new ground for the players to get used to it.
Yeah.
So he was a bit upset with the groundsman for taking up the turf to grow a new pitch. So,
Yeah,
They don't
City.
have no home advantage next season.
No, I mean City were as good as done, right? And they've sealed that with a 2-0 win today. So
Don't you think that shows just how easy it is to make the top 4 though?
yeah. Because they made three signings?
But City just didn't play.
City lost 9
between
games, bro.
November and January. They just didn't bother.
They lost,
And they still came third.
but they lost 9 games and still finished 3 points behind Arsenal.
Top 4 is a joke.
It's ridiculous.
Top 5, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Manchester City in 3rd, Chelsea in 4th, Newcastle in 5th, Aston Villa in 6th, Forest in 7th. Only thing I will say is if I'm Unai Emery, that incident with the disallowed goal is exactly the kind of thing that we were told. We were told VAR and the procedure around it would stop because that's a big, that point.
That moment, yeah.
Do you know what's ironic? Yeah? And this is a little bit of a spiritual vibe here, yeah? But stay with me.
I'll stay with you.
Yesterday, I saw Villa fans mocking Sheffield United fans because of that goal that got given when they forgot to turn VAR on or the thing on. Do you remember Sheffield United ended up getting relegated and Villa stayed up, but that goal should have never stood.
Yes.
Yeah. And I saw Villa fans mocking them about it yesterday, obviously when they lost the playoff game. And then today, Villa have been screwed by a similar technological fuck up, so to speak. So, what goes around comes around.
Karma.
But again, referee, why is the referee blowing up so early? He could argue, I've seen a foul, I'm calling a foul. But if he hadn't blown up when he blown up and play had continued and the guy has scored, then he goes to VAR.
Yeah. You know,
But in slow motion, that control, I don't know if that loss of control, that lack of control is that clear cut as well.
What, from the keeper?
Mm.
Yeah, I'm sure it still counts as him having the ball under control.
I think it's one of those ones where one person in the VR room could be like, he's got control. And it was very subjective.
Yeah.
My only issue with it is that even if the ref has blown, if that whistle hasn't stopped any action, then it should be irrelevant. And you should just make sure you follow what's right. If it is a foul, then fine. But if it's not a foul, you can't just say just because the ref blew the whistle, that whistle hasn't impacted anything.
The challenge we have with that though, I hear what you're saying. So my one is one step removed from that. My thing is, I don't like the fact that there's only very, very specific situations VAR can get involved.
Yeah,
if something's wrong, they should say. The only challenge with that though, Anne, is if we get away from the blowing of the whistle being the start and the stop of the game, it just starts to get real murky. Because people stop and blah, 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 blah. I think the onus is on the referee to use his judgment. It's a goal scoring situation. Let it play out. A bit like we do with the offsides. And I know everyone gets vexed with the whole offside thing.
You know, I get vexed when you know it's offside and you're still waiting. Like when it's
No, we
blatant,
think
it's like 10 yards.
we know it's offside.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of times where it wasn't. Right?
Yeah.
And a goal's come through. So, and it's, I don't think we've had one of those in a while. That is pretty massive. And again, like I said, VAR might have looked at it and still said no goal. But at least at that point,
It's going to VAR.
yeah. You know?
And then it's deemed fair and appropriate, right? And
100%.
that's what we want technology to be there for.
This goalkeeper thing, it's like as soon as the goalkeeper's in any problems,
They get
That's it.
protected. They
It's
get
over.
whistle, yeah.
it's just crazy. So yeah, Aston Villa drop out. Wasn't quite the team I predicted last week, but I knew one of the big guys was. I just knew Chelsea would sneak in somehow. And then there's a couple of permutations. I don't think any of them have now led to Brighton getting in the Europa Conference League. Spurs. Yeah. So I think there was a couple of permutations that would have meant we ended up the
Is it
Europe.
if Chelsea win the Conference League?
Yeah. Where's the Conference League final? And why is it after the Europa League final?
Yeah,
It should be the other way around.
Yeah.
They should almost do it like
in
in
order.
order.
Lowest.
Lowest.
But that's how it used to be, though.
Yeah.
It used to be the UEFA Cup first, then the Cup Winners' Cup, then the Champions League.
Yeah. That's what
Because
they should
that
do.
was the order of prestige.
Yeah. That's what they should do. So yeah, I think that's still kind of hanging on that. So if Chelsea win the Europa Conference League, I think there's an extra
Space.
Europa League space, I believe,
Mm.
or Europa Conference League, one of the two. So it might not be.
There's an extra Europa space.
Yeah.
Because Chelsea will take
Doesn't Europa get you in Champions League? If you win the Europa, do you get in the Champions
If you
League?
win the Europa, you get in the Champions League, and if you win the Conference League, you get in the Europa League.
Fine.
But Chelsea winning the Conference League, they don't need that.
So
Europa
Forest might be in the Europa League.
Yeah.
They might.
Forest are in the Europa League, no?
The Europa Conference League at the moment as it stands. Yeah.
And where's Crystal Palace?
They're in the Europa because they won
the FA Cup.
Yeah.
The League Cup winners don't get nothing, do they?
No, not anymore.
Who even won the
Not
League
anymore.
Liverpool.
No,
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Well off.
But they're serious.
And then but the Crystal Palace winning the FA Cup, I thought there was a maximum number of people that from one country that could be in the European Places Premier League. Let me have a quick look. How 8th place could still qualify 4 hours ago. Raw. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay.
So basically, if Chelsea wins the final.
Nope. If Chelsea win, the Europa League place due for winners will not be reallocated to another Premier League club because the Blues are already in the Champions League.
Yeah, so I've got it here. There's 6 English teams in the Champions League. The top 5 and Spurs. 2 in the Europa, Villa and Palace, and then Forest in the Conference League.
Yeah. So there were 2 scenarios in which the 8th place team could have qualified for Europe. If Chelsea finished 7th and then won the Conference League, or if Chelsea finished 6th and Newcastle finished 7th, Chelsea then win the Conference League. So either way, Nottingham Forest is in the Conference League. That's it. It's done. Yeah. It's dusted.
Yeah, I think that's the best for them.
Yeah,
I think this has worked out perfectly for everyone.
Definitely. Right, just to quickly touch on the other games from today. Bournemouth beat Leicester 2-0 at home. Antoine Semenyo with 2 goals.
Bring him to Arsenal
in 15 minutes. I would love to, but we know it's not happening. We just know. Wolves and Brentford drew 1-1. Marshall Monetzi, don't know who that is, equalising after Brian and Bremer put Brentford forward on 20th minute. Is someone actually going to buy Mbemo? Is it going to be another one of these summers?
Someone's buying him.
He's another one that someone could.
Someone's buying him.
I'd take him at Arsenal.
I'll take him at Arsenal.
I think Chelsea would take him.
He play up front on the left or on the right?
Chelsea would take him. I think.
Arteta's not putting anyone in front of Saka, so take off the right.
He doesn't have to go in front of Saka though. Saka can't play every single match.
Not according to Arteta.
But we've literally seen Arteta force him.
No,
not force him. Sorry,
no.
But I agree with this. There needs to be rotation.
I think at some point he's gonna have to learn the error of his ways and change the things that he's doing. You can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
Yeah, I wish.
So I think
Spurs
for me,
should go for him.
I think
Villa should go for him. But
Villa. Ooh.
He improves everybody outside
of Liverpool.
He improves them better than Diaz and that.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about where he plays.
No, but he can play up front.
Fair.
He can play up front or he can play on the left. Everyone says he plays on the right. He plays on the right.
Plays right.
Mane played on the right until Salah came. Rafinha played on the right until Yamal came.
Yeah.
And now look. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I think Mbeumo, with the attributes that he has,
his IQ.
Yeah, I think him on the left is frightening. I would say, I think if we could get him and Gyökeres, I'd be over the moon.
I think we're gonna go for Sesko. I don't know why. I
don't like him.
I have no evidence.
But all the other media outlets are starting to push that
Yeah,
Is that we're
For
getting
some
through.
reason, I don't think.
I think it's
go
because
for
we've
us.
seen that Arteta wants a target man. Essentially.
Okay.
So I think if you look at the type of player that Arteta's wanted as a striker, he's wanted to play Havertz there. He's gone for Marino rather than playing Martinelli up front. Like he acted like Marino was his only option. It wasn't. Martinelli is literally a striker. The chase for Vlahovic, it's kind of evident that, and his obsession with like 6'3" players.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of evident that he wants
It's like Mourinho with
target guy, a person to link up. Because even when you look at Gabriel Jesus' profile, it was coming short into pockets and knocking it back. So even though he didn't have the height, he comes short to link up.
But I don't. Sesko, a bit like Lukaku for me, in the sense that people look at the size of them and assume that
they're
this striker.
Yeah.
But they're not. Like Sesko, I haven't watched a lot of Sesko, but when I have, I don't see a link man. I don't see a target man. I see he's got some nice touches and he can finish. Like he finishes emphatically, but I don't see someone that you can like get you out of trouble and play up to like how Giroud and that was. I don't see that personally. I might be wrong. I haven't watched. And the
Gyökeres, the way I've seen a bit more of him than Sesko, and to your point, the way he bullies defenders,
Harry's there,
makes the ball stick, pushes the team right up the pitch.
Gyökeres reminds me of Vardy.
Yeah. Bit taller.
Yeah, reminds me of Vardy. But a bit less sharp. Like Vardy was mad sharp and explosive. Gyökeres is a bit more bustly, but similar style to Vardy.
Sorry, go on.
Watching the game today, because we're talking about Arsenal right now, he needs to work on the forward line movement. It's so predictable.
Everyone comes to feet though. It's all static
it's
and
all
everyone
static,
comes
like,
to feet. No one runs.
No one runs it behind.
The other guy did that cross to the back post.
That annoying float thing.
Wow.
I didn't watch none of our game. There was I was watching the top four game. There's nothing to play for, but
I watched it. I was watching both of them, and I was just like, it's just so predictable. Like, get the ball, Saka just staying by the touchline. He's not making a run inside to cause a bit of chaos. So the team, a solid team, and I think that's why we got so many draws this year, because they knew this is how we're going to play and we're going to set up like this. And they need to go whatever, but they just knew the front line are not going to have them running all over the place because no one's making
the rotations. It used to be known for the rotations, and then now they just stopped.
It's just predictable. It's just I'll get out while I wait for Martinelli to dink it back post.
Yeah, so an away win 2-1 at relegated Southampton. Kieran Tierney put Arsenal in front. Ross Stewart equalised, and then Martin Odegaard on 89 minutes.
Good finish.
I've not seen the goal.
It was a good finish.
Odegaard's goal was really good. I haven't seen Tierney's goal.
It was a tap, a good build up, and near post, Kieran just tapped it in.
I just thought about something. We talked a lot about Mbeumo. No one ever talks about Wissa leaving.
It's a fight I've been having. But Wissa's not the right age, is he?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Well, how old is he?
He's at 29.
30.
Because his numbers are not.
I think Wissa would be brilliant as a backup striker. So maybe if you sign a Gyökeres and you sign Wissa can do what you want from the Seskos and out of this.
Because his numbers are up there.
Yeah, but do Brentford let both of them go in the same window?
No way.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
No way. And everyone seems to feel pretty confident that Mbeumo's going. What about what's his name? The playmaker.
Damsgaard.
Yeah. Man. Somebody needs to go and offer the money.
But this is what I'm saying. When I'm watching teams like, we need a bit more creativity, like United, and I'm seeing Chelsea and Newcastle make all these shots. But Damsgaard right there.
Yep.
Like, because he ain't got a pretty name. Like, if Damsgaard's name was Pereira and he had a full hairline, like say when Pereira had a fade, they wouldn't be there. Like, Damsgaard, proper baller.
Bit like, what's his name? The one that was at Brighton before he went to, where did Gross?
Pascal Gross. Yeah, he's at Dortmund now.
Yeah. Remember, every season he was getting like 10 assists.
Gross was a bad
He's another one that suffered from almost being the wrong age. Like,
he's too old.
When he started to do his thing in the Prem, everyone was like,
he's already over 30.
Champions Liverpool drew 1-1.
So can we just go back as well? Because Southampton, even though they've gone down, they've signed a new manager, haven't they?
Of course, Will Still. He's signed a 3-year deal.
The championship manager.
The football manager. The guy who progressed from football manager.
It's not true. He said it on Monday Night Football. He's like, basically, he used something from Football Manager, and he was doing an interview, and they asked him what he used to. He was doing video analysis like for some academy here or whatever, and then he went to France, something like that. And then they asked him what he liked to do, and he used to spend a lot of time playing Football Manager. And then they just basically ran with him and said, so he learned everything from Football Manager. And he was like, oh, cool, yeah, I'll run with it. It gets me spoken about.
Yeah.
But that's what happened. He wasn't...
Because people have used it to almost demean, well, as we had the conversation in the group the other day.
Yeah. So the similar happened with Graham Potter, is that everybody thought Graham Potter came from a university coaching background and then...
got a job and then
when the truth is Graham Potter was a professional footballer that played in the Premier League and has over like 300 Football League appearances.
I did not know that.
See? Everyone thinks he's out of the mud. Graham Potter played in the Premier League.
We think he's Roy Hodgson, but he's not.
He's not.
What? I thought he did what he was doing. Went to Sweden.
No, bro. Graham Potter played for Southampton in the Prem. He played over 300 times in the Football League. He was an England under-21 international. At the end of his career, he was helping his friend coach at a university team. And then somebody was working in Sweden, so he got a job out there in Sweden and then came back.
I'm fuming.
It's a big lie.
320 professional appearances. I'm fuming. I can't believe this.
So we thought he's Roy Hodgson.
Everyone,
I thought he just,
Nah, it's a lie.
Bro, 114 appearances for York City. Nah.
Man played in the Premier League.
West Brom.
He's been about.
Yeah, all right.
Graham Potter's story, and he let them run with it. Because
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I said, when it's a bit different to coaching at the university. Bro, shut up.
Anything that sets him apart, I guess. Anything that sets him apart. Wow. Damn me. Well, you learn something new every day. Yes, Liverpool won. Crystal Palace won.
Salah didn't break Henry's record.
Which I'm really happy about because, again, WhatsApp would have been unbearable for a while. Ismail Assar, good goal.
Good movement.
Yeah, good goal. Good touch and finish. He's another one, I think. He had this is his first season back, isn't it?
Yeah, he was at Watford, didn't he?
Yeah. Then he went to Marseille, I want to say, or somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think next season,
he's
gonna step up another level. How old is he though? Because he's been around for a while.
23, 24.
Really?
Is he only that young? That's crazy.
I don't think he's that old.
And then Mo Salah equalised at 84th minute. Sandwich in between that was Gravenberch.
Smart red card, man. I'm not mad at it. Does he get a free game ban at the beginning of next season?
Ooh, I think so.
He does, isn't it?
No, I think so.
Maybe it wasn't.
I think if Martinez stays in the Premier, he gets a ban as well. He gets a 1 game ban because that was 2 yellows. No, that was straight
Martinez
red.
got a straight red.
And Gravenberch's got a straight red as well.
Yeah, but I think
they're 1 game bans.
Oh no, he's older, so he's 27. So.
1 game ban. It's not violent conduct. Gravenberch wasn't violent conduct. That was denying a goal scoring opportunity. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Right. So, well, I mean, what a way to end your season. But obviously they'll do their parade. Let's get on to this is the match I want to talk about.
Can we just say one thing about Liverpool quickly?
Yes.
Yeah. Because a lot of their fans, namely in our group, love to comment on the amount of games the Invincibles drew. And they ignore the fact that the Invincibles drew 4 games after already winning the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, they conveniently forget that.
Because nuance isn't important.
Yeah, but since Liverpool won the title, they've played 5 Premier League games and they've failed to win 4 of them. It's very difficult to motivate yourself to play and to win when you've already won.
And you're going to Dubai in the between games.
Yeah. It's hard work. So maybe some people should take a look at these results and just realise, right, you know what? Manage to stay unbeaten when you've got to play 4 games already as the champions after being unbeaten all season is bloody impressive. Even if you did only draw them, you didn't lose.
But because of banter and tribalism, they won't want to acknowledge that. Fair play to Liverpool. They did their thing. Fair play to Slot. I didn't see it, man. When Keith was telling me and to follow Klopp, he's done it. He did it well. Gravenberch turned up this season. Salah turned up again this season.
He didn't catch Henry.
Didn't catch Henry. And he still had a couple of players that didn't feel like they wanted to contribute. Diaz. Not even Diaz. Nunes, sorry. Nunes.
They're just not very good. Neither of them, if I'm entirely honest. I don't think Diaz is good. I don't think
Diaz
Nunes is
tricked me, you know.
I would have a Diaz from him.
Not from the first moment.
He tricked me.
I knew what he was.
But Liverpool making moves already, right?
Yeah, well.
Kirkes looks like he's coming in.
So the Kirkes one, cool. I think that's a good signing. He's clearly got.
He's very similar to Robinson. Robertson.
Yeah, and I think he's got a little bit more footballing wise what you need today. He's a little bit more.
I think that is. I just think he's
younger.
This is the
Really?
era.
I never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
But Robertson was technique.
For his time, he was the same player.
And then this Wirtz still, right?
Mm.
120 million people are saying 300 a week, 350 a week.
I'll be
Do
real.
they need him?
I don't see it with him. I'll be real.
I thought it was me. When I watch international, I was like,
I'm not
saying he's bad or nothing.
but he's not that level.
I don't see what everybody
Do
else.
you know what I thought? Do you know what I saw?
I watched
I'm gonna say something.
Musiala and I'm like, yeah, that's the real deal.
Yeah.
I watch my man. I'm like, yeah, he's good. He's tidy, but
I thought I see him like how I saw Kvaratskhelia. That's how I saw him.
No.
And I think Kvaratskhelia is even better.
that's an incredible pronunciation. Though. Big up you.
Brother,
I just call him Kivra. I've never tried to say his full name.
if you see the first time I said it on this podcast, you won't be clapping. Because he was 70 million in Jan. I don't see 120 million pounds
of talent.
I'm not saying not even of talent. I'm just shocked by what I'm hearing fee wise and wages wise.
325 bags a week.
But
I mean, he's going to be that's salary money.
But you're saying you're not seeing that talent, that level of talent to be paying that amount.
Yeah. He's not done it yet. That's the kind of money you should get or cost when you've done it. And he's not even done it. He's not batted up the Champions League.
Well, he won the league, didn't he?
He won the league, but if you go and buy
Lamine Yamal, final, didn't they?
even if you go and buy Rafinha now, how much is Rafinha going to cost you?
Yeah, you're not paying 125 million for Rafinha.
Who would you rather have right now, Rafinha or Wirtz?
Yeah, it's a valid point.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
But
even Lamine Yamal, he might cost you 150, 180 million right now.
I'd give you 300 mil.
I know you would. But if you were going to pry Lamine Yamal
300 mil and whatever player you want from my team.
Actually, I'll tell you what. No, forget that.
Including Saka.
Even Musiala. I don't even think it takes 120 mil to get Musiala out of Bayern Munich, as much as they love him.
It does, but I don't think anybody pays it.
So I don't know what Liverpool and Liverpool, as much as it pains me, they're annoyingly sensible with transfers.
Yeah,
are they?
Normally,
no, they are.
Are they? They spent 90 million on Nunes, 55 million on Diaz.
55 million on Diaz is a fair bet.
I don't think so.
55 million is a 30 million now. That's to be fair.
I don't do that either.
Nah.
I don't do that either because that's what I said to you about Cunha. Who else is?
I don't think so.
But if Cunha costs 60, he's done it in the Prem. So
no,
I don't
he shouldn't
think
be 60 mil either. Cunha shouldn't be 60 mil, and
no, but he just signed a new contract.
It doesn't matter. And what's his name shouldn't be 60 mil either. They're saying the Brighton striker Pedro,
yeah, for what?
60 million.
Yeah,
for what?
They say they want 60 mil for him.
He plays for Brighton, isn't
Yeah. I like Gakpo, but again, they spent 40 million on him.
I think that's okay.
I think that's money well spent.
I think that's what he
40 mil.
stepped up. He's
I do like Gakpo, yeah, I'll give you that. But what I'm saying is Liverpool do spend money sometimes a little bit crazy. So Bosley 60 mil.
Again, that was about.
Nah, he's not that guy.
McAllister 35, but I think that's what you get.
That's
what you get.
This,
So you get McAllister, then you get Fabinho. Remember this had Fabinho for 30.
This is what happens
they
with
underpaid
Liverpool.
for McAllister though.
Yeah, but this is what happens with Liverpool. We'll look at a good signing and say
That's right.
that's what Liverpool do, and we'll ignore a bad one
like Nunes.
and act like that's not part of their makeup.
That's fair.
Because we're looking at McAllister.
Naby Keita as well was coming for 50-something mil.
But that weren't their fault. Everyone thought Keita was going to be bad.
No. It was a little bit because didn't they go in for him first? Then he got injured. Then he went back later.
Am
I making it out?
I think so.
Didn't they do that? Is that what happened with Keita?
Something happened.
They went first. It didn't work. I don't know.
All I know, when they first signed him, everyone thought he was going to be the next.
But and I tell you what was even more about the Wirtz thing. Doesn't he play on the right?
I don't.
Right and inside.
Well, according to Transfer Market, he plays as a 10 more often than not.
But
do they need him that badly?
Look, so I'm looking at his.
They need him 120 million pound badly.
So he scored 11 in the Bundesliga this season.
Not 120.
Yeah, which to me isn't great in the Bundesliga. No goals against Munich. No goals against Dortmund. Who came third in the Bundesliga this year? Probably them, innit?
Dortmund were like fourth or something.
No, I mean probably Leverkusen.
Oh, they came second.
Right. So who was the top four?
So the top four was Bayern, Leverkusen, Frankfurt, and Dortmund fourth.
Right. So Frankfurt. So no goals or assists against Frankfurt, Dortmund, or Bayern. So no goals or assists against the top four. Obviously, he plays for one of them.
Yeah.
He scored 6 in 9 in the CL. But if you look at who he scored against in the CL, he got 2 against Feyenoord, 1 against Stade Brest, 2 against Salzburg, and 1 against Sparta Prague. Nothing against Liverpool, nothing against AC Milan, nothing against Inter, nothing against Atletico, nothing against Bayern.
I don't know.
120 mil is a lot. And the wages is a lot. The wages is a lot.
When you break it down like that,
but it's potential you're playing for.
But one
right?
time,
that's what happened with Kai Havertz.
Yeah.
Kai Havertz was busting it up for Leverkusen.
And potential, that's what you got bought for. Potential.
And at a similar
They paid
age,
90
crazy
million
money
for him.
was paid for him.
They paid 90 million for him or something? Chelsea?
Yeah, something
Like that. The only thing sometimes I try and look at as well is, okay, we just won the league. We want to go back to winning the Champions League. We want a certain quality of player. If I don't buy Wirtz, who else is in that bracket that's value for and is available?
I think there's so many other options. I think
Give me a couple.
for that money or for less.
Well, just in that, as in that quality of player. Let's put the money aside. That quality of player, because my first critique of it was, if you want a guy this badly that gives you that, you should have been in the race for Kvaratskhelia in January. You should have been there with 70 mil and taken him.
Yeah.
Right?
He definitely offers you that.
And no disrespect to PSG, at that time, a player picks Liverpool over PSG. Unless it's a wages thing.
See, this is it was kind of misrepresented. He was only going to PSG.
It was a done deal.
Yeah, it wasn't a thing. It
wasn't
was available to
in.
any and everywhere. It wasn't like that. So it's kind of misleading the way people put it out there.
So who else is there? If they don't go, because that might sometimes when I look at some deals that clubs do, I do look at it and think, you just there wasn't much choice. So who else is there of that quality that is available?
I think he's a punt.
Who?
It's wild, but I think Ramsey's a punt.
Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it.
I think Jacob Ramsey's like, what, you get him for 60 mil?
Probably less if Villa have got financial issues. Morgan Rogers is there for cheaper than Wirtz.
He's not leaving. Villa's not giving.
Villa ain't turning him down 70 mil for a player.
For Morgan Rogers?
I don't think so.
But if you could pay Morgan Rogers, 100%, I think Morgan Rogers, he gives you so much more. He can drive. He can.
Yeah. I again, I'm not saying that Wirtz isn't good.
We're just talking about what it's going to cost and what he puts him in the team.
If he was 70 mil,
bro, you got to understand as well, a lot of people rate a player based on what they hear about a player.
Yeah,
they haven't actually
watch him.
I know a lot of man that has got Wirtz. They ain't been what. And some of the highlights look lovely, obviously. Like,
when I watched him in the international, I was like, you're all right.
Yeah, I weren't crazy.
And we've got this thing about the German league and how people take to the Prem as well, right?
The adjustment, the transition.
Yeah, it's an interesting. It is a super interesting one, and he lands in the same kind of salary bracket as Van Dijk, Alisson, I would say, and Salah. But
this is the thing now, because like on the other side of it, like we were saying, we look at their transfer and they're going out and doing business, and there's some Liverpool fans that want the owners out, right? Yeah. Like, well, listen, those guys have turned around that club since they're doing up the stadium, etc. That's interesting. So Kerkez, Frimpong, and Wirtz.
I don't rate him.
I mean, that's an intent.
But
if they do all of that by the end of June, that's a very intentional window, bro. You're starting pre-season properly. Yeah. Meanwhile, my club. Anyway, let's not get into that. Is there any games I haven't covered? Yes. Well, West Ham beat Ipswich 3-1 away. James Ward-Prowse, Adrian's boy. Jared Bowen and Kudus for West Ham with Nathan Broadhead for Ipswich. And then Brighton. I was just about to say Tottenham 1, Brighton 4. Only Spurs could win Europa League on Wednesday and then get slapped. Hold on, 1-0 up. Yep, go 1-0 up. Dominic Solanke penalty. That tackle was rash on tail, boy. I don't know what that guy was doing. And then letting 4 goals in the second half. One of which was basically a power league goal. I don't know if you've seen it. What's his name? Hinselwood. The ball's come to him in front of the goalkeeper and he's basically just backheeled it into the net. Someone was keeping him onside. 21 games they've lost in the Premier League this season. I suspect it was Anton's friend, Romero. That guy needs to... Anyway. Well, he wasn't playing, to be fair. With Danso and Van der Ven at the back. Udogie and Porro on the left and the right side. So yeah, I don't know if Andrews would say any smart things after the game. I didn't see any of his interview. But yeah, that's just typical Spurs. Absolutely typical Spurs. And then talking of the Prem, we've got 3 teams coming up. 2 of them who were here yesterday, basically, Burnley and Leeds, and Sunderland, who haven't been there since 2017, I want to say.
Yeah, about that.
2017, 2018. With a bit of a smash and grab in the playoff final.
Shocking game.
Was it? I think at least for the highlights.
It was so bad.
But the two goals, that finish for the winner.
Bad boy finish.
He's leaving as well.
Going Brighton, isn't it?
Is he going Brighton? Oh, okay, fair. I was going to say that's his last game.
Yeah,
Sunderland's first goal.
Proper Sunderland's. What do you mean? Oh, the first one. Yeah.
First one was a bad boy finish.
Yeah, good finish. See how he does in the Prem.
They're all wasting the look. They're going straight back down. That Sunderland side ain't got.
So I was going to say, Sunderland probably. Burnley?
1,000,000%. Like 1,000,000%.
You don't think
none of them are getting more than 25 points.
The only team that they can get close to is Wolves. And I think
I don't think they can.
But that's the closest. I think Wolves are going to be the closest one to them.
Leeds have got money they could spend. They're owned by the 49ers group. They might be able to spend.
On who?
Boy.
You got to remember.
You've only got to come 17th.
Yeah, but the problem you've got is in terms of recruitment,
yep.
You got to be able to do better than all the other teams.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
you're already at a disadvantage because you've got a way worse team already. Yeah. So then you say Leeds are the next. I mean, Wolves are the next closest team, but Wolves has got a direct and unfair link to Portuguese
and Brazil.
Football. Yeah, like they've got.
People forget Vitinha was at Wolves, you know.
Right.
Vitinha was at Wolves, PSG midfielder.
Oh yeah,
couldn't get in the team. Even Trincao, who's starting for flipping Porto and whatnot or whatever it is, he was there as well. Like
they basically got an internal agent.
They have, and this is the thing. So, to be fair, to stay up. Those are the good deals that you need.
Yeah.
But you can't get them before them.
Yeah.
No.
So then you're looking at Forest, who have got shitload of money and European football to offer. Then you're looking at Palace, who've now got European football to offer.
And money now.
And gonna have some more money. Like, I just don't...
Like, I'm looking at the table. You're right. Of the
who can they catch?
yo-yo teams, it's just Nottingham Forest and Wolves that are left in the league now. Everyone else...
It's gone.
Is a Prem team.
It's a Prem
established, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And Wolves ain't been relegated. Wolves have been in the Prem for like 10 years now.
But they flirted with relegation throughout their time, right?
No, they ain't. They've been in Europe. They've come in the top half more.
Yeah, remember.
I'm saying
I think they've had like 2 dodgy seasons.
That's what I mean by that.
Yeah, so I just don't know.
And then this season was a struggle for them, but look at the gap.
And I mean, 25 points.
But that was just because
of the 18th. That's mad.
I just don't know. I just don't look at anyone.
Remember the days where 39 points and you're still in the relegation zone?
West Ham got relegated with 41 points in like 2005 or 2006 or something like that. I just look at the league and I just don't see who these guys can catch. I don't see who they could be better than.
Is there anything that should be done about it? Because if what you're saying is true, all that happens is
you just get
there's a 13-point gap between 18th and 17th. As much as I want to banter Spurs and that, there was no danger of them going.
Nah.
What could be done about it? The only thing you could do
is
make promotion harder in the sense of like what they do in Germany. There's a playoff game between the promoted and the relegated. But I don't think that's fair. I just don't see how you reward having a really good season and give a potential saving to someone who had a really bad one. Yeah. I just don't see how
they get extra money.
Yeah, I just don't see how that
That's
works.
the only way like you give them extra money to spend.
There's almost like
even that.
Do you give them extra headroom on their PSR for the first year?
That's what I mean. Like,
but what if it don't work? Then they're fucked. Because when they got to go back down and they've got all this big money to pay out. Even yesterday, like they're calling the Sunderland game with, it's worth an extra 220 million in revenue. Okay. The wage bill is going to rocket. Because all these players have got like a 25% bonus for getting to the Premier League. So forget 25% of that 220 million already. So that's what, 60 mil's gone.
Yep.
Yeah, near enough. 55, 60 mil's gone already. Then you're going to have to buy players to even stand half a chance of staying up. Well, the average good Premier League player these days is 30 mil. So let's say you're going to have to spend at least 100 million to even...
Well, what did I just say? 50 is the new 30 mil.
Yeah. Well, so look, that's 100. So now you've got 50 million of your windfall. You got to get VAR put in your ground.
Yeah.
So you got 45 mil. extra money.
So maybe they get extra or like. But like you said,
So
it's
what
not
they're
going to
saying
rectify
in
the
general,
situation.
what they're saying in general is that the money that flows down from the Prem should increase, so the gap's smaller. But I don't know, man.
If you make a smaller
'Cause
gap,
this looks.
you have an inferior competition.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then what happens? Because what we're
Wait,
going to see next
am I
season
just saying that
probably.
because I'm a Premier League fan?
What do you think we're going to see next season?
Now,
then?
watch a championship game. It's like, I used to enjoy championship games. In the last couple of seasons, I haven't been able to enjoy a championship game. The standard is bad.
Since Burnley left.
And maybe it's not bad, or maybe the Premier League's so high that looks bad, but it's not actually bad. But
So do you think now the three that's gone down, they're going to come straight back up?
No.
I don't.
I don't.
That's where the championship is almost good in itself.
It can reset itself.
But to that point, it's interesting because there were days, we didn't even say it in the group. When it was Super Sunday, we were certain teams. We were like, bruv, what you lot doing? But now, most games are watchable in the Prem. You can watch
game.
If it's Bournemouth Fulham, you're gonna enjoy.
Yeah,
you're gonna enjoy
that's a
the
good
game.
game now,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
gonna enjoy that game.
Brighton Brentford is a good game.
The only ones we avoided were all the ones that came up. So if it was Ipswich, Leicester, we was like, nah.
I don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
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 Remember back in the day when it would be like Blackburn versus West Brom on Monday Night Football?
We lot did. Yeah. We lot did.
Like, unless Chris Brunt's gonna bang a screamer or James Morrison, then why am I watching this?
What's the other
Gavin
Welsh guy?
Pedersen.
What's the Welsh guy? The one that refused to wear the poppy. What's his name?
Not Welsh.
But not well. She's
James McLean.
Yeah, the Irish, yeah.
He's at Wrexham, no?
Yeah, in Championship.
Yeah, they're in the Championship now.
Sunderland, I saw Enzo Lafise getting 70k a week in the Championship. Enzo Lafise, he's a bad boy. He's Sunderland's best player, yeah. Like,
70 grand a week.
In a
I was
championship.
telling someone this other day, they talk about talking rubbish.
No, there's talks that they can outpay certain top European clubs in the Championship. There's money.
It's getting to the point where you playing in the Championship your whole career now, you're gonna make money that certain guys who were playing for mid-table Prem teams were making not that long ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I remember when Bergkamp joined Arsenal and it being a wow factor that he was getting 25k a week.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember that?
I remember that.
Crazy.
And to us, it's still wow, but in Premier League, like if you heard, someone's just, he's only getting 25 a week. That is shit for us. Like, that's what
that's the youth players get now.
Yeah, there must be 17-year-olds on that.
They even made their first team debut. They're getting 25k a week.
Crazy. All right, well, we'll look forward to next season. I just hope it's not as bad as this season because the showing, we got a little flashes here and there from Ipswich, the lap, etc., but it wasn't great. Last but not least, honourable mention for Napoli, clinching Serie A on Friday night. It was a nice bit of drama.
Yeah.
Obviously managed by Antonio Conte, who left here in a blaze of fire after telling Daniel Levy about himself. He's the first coach to legally win
Like that.
legally win 3 Serie A titles with 3 different teams. You know, that man knows how to win a league. He doesn't have to play in Europe, but he knows how to win a league, right?
He's a 1 game a week king.
Yeah, trust me. And then, of course, in that team, got Romelu Lukaku winning his 2nd Italian league title. Scott McTominay, player of the season in Italy, discarded by Manchester United, has been an absolute revelation there. And what's his name? Billy Gilmore as well.
Yeah, and then Anton's other player.
And then Philip Billing from Bournemouth, they got him from.
Good player.
Good player, been rotating in and out of the team. I just find it really interesting to see players, and I know people have views of the Italian, etc. I think the Italian league has been stronger in recent years, in the last sort of 2 to 3 years. But it's nice to see players who have been discarded, who were sometimes talked about not being good enough, and now they've gone to one of the top 5 leagues and done really well.
Do you think, it just came to my, some of those players that were discarded, do you think it's based around being star-stuck? So what I mean by that is we get caught up in like McTominay being the equivalent of Roy Keane. And he was never, but actually let's just appreciate him for his attributes, which is making late runs, got an eye for goal, and he harries, he chases.
Wait, bro, I honestly, and I just think it's down to the club and the coaches at the time, right? We saw some of what he's doing. Granted, it was for Scotland, who are not a top international team. But whilst he was at Man United, we saw him doing this stuff for Scotland.
And for United. Right? He scored clutch goals for United.
Yeah, exactly. And they chose to not use him in a certain way, and then the narrative forms and blah, 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 blah. So, you know, and it wasn't that long ago that he was here. right?
Yeah.
So it's not crazy. I think for Gilmour, it's a slightly different story. Obviously, he started off at Chelsea.
You see the scenes of Trent crying?
No.
It's sad, man.
Yeah, bruv, he's leaving his hometown.
Crying to his mum.
Leaving his hometown club.
Yeah,
and the way they've been treating him and stuff, not great at all. So yeah, I think that's a bit of an interesting one. Seeing the pundits and some of the ex-Man United guys talk about that one. But yeah, I love seeing English players or players that played in the UK go abroad and achieve and do well.
Yeah.
They got to go again next season. Napoli will have Champions League. Apparently, no one knows if Conte is even still.
He's going Juve.
Is he?
Yeah, he's going Juve.
Back to you.
It's all on the thing today.
That guy is too
He's
funny,
a madman.
He's got to take the Lukaku with him, surely.
You know what I like about him though? He just plays what he's got. He uses the squad.
But he says it all the time. He says, I'm not interested in transfers. Just get the players out there. I'll use
He's
them.
about 15 players. What are you talking about?
But what I like about him, he says, all right, I'm going to play 3-5-2. I'm going to play 4-3-3 or 3-4-3.
Yeah, but what he's saying is I don't need the
big stars.
Yeah, just give me the guys that can do it. Hence why he went to Inter and said, Ashley Young, come true.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But that's why I understood the De Bruyne signing with Conte there. But now Conte's going, I'm thinking, is that a factor in him going? Is it that De Bruyne was being forced on him and he doesn't want De Bruyne?
Maybe. He doesn't know his kind of player. Maybe. All right. Well, listen, that's it for another week. Premiership is done, but we still have Europa Conference League final, Champions League final,
and internationals.
And the internationals and the Club World Cup. So yeah, we'll be back next week to talk through some of our team of the season, a few other bits. Those two people that we did the pod with will be back from Liverpool celebrating their Premier League win. So we'll be back next week. As always, please like, share, subscribe. Peace.